welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to go through your comments, going to do a comments video, reading out some of your comments on the book I reviewed, Neoliberalism, the Invisible Doctrine by George Monbiot. So if you haven't done so already, check out those videos. So I guess this going to be doing a comments video, as I say, just going over your comments. Okay, so comments now on video number 1. Thank you for your excellent presentation. Some of the tenets of neoliberalism seem to conflict with empirical findings about the causes and consequences of poverty. I remember from sociology courses. Neoliberalism sounds kind of like an economic theory that has been proven invalid, but is still applied because it reduces cognitive dissonance and helps the wealthy rationalise their behaviour in a culture where socio-economic inequality causes severe harm. So that's the first comment, thank you for that. Next comment now. Really glad you mentioned noblesse oblige. I usually bring it up in contrast to laissez-faire. In a way, laissez-faire plays out like an inversion of the golden rule. Thanks for that. Next comment now. I struggle to see neoliberalism as anything other than a pseudo-philosophical veneer on what is in essence greed and the desire for exploitation. I don't actually think it compares well with the original 18th and 19th century liberalism, because that movement was pursued as a way to genuinely benefit the majority of the public by liberating them from the exploitation of the landed elite and to improve quality of life for everyone by eliminating the economic protectionism that was a feature of how things used to be. Liberalism, of course, failed in that it led to even greater disparities and poverty, especially in the burgeoning cities, a situation which was responded to with the rise of socialism. The new liberalism of liberal figures such as Leonard Trelawney Hobhouse, which supported the creation of a welfare state. Those advocating for neoliberalism today know full well what happens when the kind of economic liberalisation, laissez-faire approach they want, is implemented. The rich get richer as their ability to exploit others increases. I think neoliberalism is particularly resonates in the US because it sounds as if it is all about liberty, which of course is central to American self-identity. In reality, neoliberalism just serves to liberate the rich from moral restraint and responsibility towards others. Thanks for that. Yes, America seems to be very, very allergic, USA, I'm talking about, seems to be very, very allergic to socialism, as in, as you say, their self-identity is very much built on this whole idea of individual self-sufficiency, this kind of sort of Wild West pioneering spirit, this idea of like each person out on their own, kind of looking after themselves, hard work and all of that. And yeah, it seems to be a sort of very much a mythological story built up in America of like the hard work being justly rewarded, like the American dream sort of narrative. and socialism in America, that people often see socialism as sort of antithetical to that, which of course is not true, but that's how the American kind of national identity has been built. Although of course America hasn't always been as individualistic as it is currently. I mean, there has been the extreme sort of dog-eat-dog neoliberalism you see today, dog-eat-dog individualism, that you see today, that is pretty recent, even for like American standards. Anyway, so thanks for that comment. Video number 2 now. Sorry, there is one more comment on that video. Curious how similar neoliberalism is to neoconservatism. Indeed, if anyone's got any ideas on that, let me know. Okay, video number 2 now. Comments on that one. Brilliant, Anna. You're my hero in the brave new world. Neoliberal dystopia. Thanks for that. Not often am I called a hero. Next comment now. One of the sad things about contemporary politics, apart from the hollowing out of the left and its replacement with endless and extremely bourgeois identity politics, is the rise of right-wing populists. Most clearly expressed in people like Trump, who are feeding off the discontent that decades of neoliberal policies have given rise to, by pretending to be on the side of the ordinary man and woman who, whilst actually being some of the most neoliberal ideologues out there. And what's worse is that many vulnerable people are being enticed by that pantomime and are voting for politicians that will actually harm them. Thanks for that. Next comment now. Really good book review and subject. Following the societal norms, living in a country where your success is judged upon what car you drive and your postcode, what is perceived as being rich is having expensive possessions. I have worked on a billionaire's house which is worth about £60 million in London. Is that person perceived as rich and all the others in society poor? I sponsor a child in Ethiopia through schooling, and she writes to us. She may live in a mud hut, but is rich, having loving family and has much happiness in life. So I guess that's a whole discussion about relative versus absolute poverty. In a society like Britain, where a certain standard of living is expected, because it's now like a norm for people, say, to have a car, irrespective of environmental consequences, of course, but it's the norm for most people to have a car. It's the norm for most people to have the internet. It's the norm for most people to have television, because that's the kind of societal norm. Not to have those things, not to be able to afford those things, that's like relative poverty in a sense. That can be deeply harmful for people, and is, because poverty in that respect is kind of ranked according to what is expected in a society. What is in a given society, what is the standard of living meant to be? What is, so I'm just going to turn this off. What is the norm? What is the norm? And if you can't live up to that norm because you're earning less than what the majority of people get, that is deeply harmful. On a mental and a physical level, this can actually increase physical ill health as well as mental ill health, because humans are a social species, and if you're cast out and if you're not getting the standard of living that most people in your area or society are having, that could be deeply damaging. So I do think that relative poverty can be just as harmful as absolute poverty. I mean, they're different things, and obviously they are different, but yeah, I don't think we should underestimate the negative effects of relative poverty, or say, oh, well, at least you've got a roof over your head, or stuff like that, because I think that really dismisses and downgrades what can actually be deeply harmful. But yeah, so I think that's what you're getting at there. I don't buy into that whole idea that love is everything. No, I think that, we need money is essential. It provides access to resource. If you don't have money, no matter how loving your family, that is not a good life. Yeah, love is important, but ultimately poverty is deeply harmful, and I don't think love can solve that. I don't really buy into that whole idea, just give me love, that's just that hippie idea, that kind of very bourgeois, new age idea, which comes from very privileged people, of course, who haven't actually experienced that sort of thing, so this whole idea, you can just go off the grid and stuff like that. Well, great if you can, but most people don't have that luxury. So anyway, I'm digressing. So now I'm going to move over to the next video now.